you were the first guy I know of who really brought the Telecaster into jazz. Like,
well, there's some other,
like Jimmy Bryant.
There's some other cats,
way
and other cats. There's a guy in Canada, I can't remember his name now, Badass, who played a telly, and some other people did it, but it wasn't the most common instrument. I used to have an ES-175, a Gibson ES-175.
Yeah, more traditional jazz box.
Exactly, which was great for jazz, but then it was actually Pat Metheny. I was studying with him at Berkeley. We used to just play tunes, and somehow he liked my playing, and he said, "Let's just play."
Well, what's not to like?
Well, I was hitting all wrong. How about all the wrong notes I was hitting? And so I was hitting all wrong notes, and somehow he liked my playing, but he heard me play with the telly finally, and he said, "You should just play that guitar."
Really?
Pat was into like people trying to find their own voice.
Right.
And so he heard me play that, and he said, just keep playing that with everything you do. So I kind of did. It felt the most natural anyway, because I kind of grew up with a solid body guitar.
Yeah.
I love, archtop, big guitars.
Sure.
I love them. I mean, there's some kind of warmth that actually I kind of use some equipment to try to emulate.
Yeah.
And simulate.
Yeah. But so, like a big, like that 175 would not work with Miles. You guys are blowing so
that's
loud.
That's the thing. And he wanted
Jocko, you couldn't have done it.
Exactly. And they wanted me to rock,
Yeah.
And all of the above. I could play kind of quiet too, but Miles definitely. Every time I would play a little too much in the soft, kind of more bebop kind of stuff, he'd say, "No, none of that. Turn up, play like Jimmy." He wanted me to play like Hendrix. So I said he was the boss, so I did it. And he was right for the music.
Right.
But he let me play a lot of what I wanted to play. I mean, it was still, he let me be me.
Yeah.
But sometimes he wanted it louder. That's all, and I might have played it. So I, started using I was using distortion anyway for that gig and rocking, but using more kind of some bebop licks and bebop vocabulary on that lick, on that band too. And he was cool with whatever, but he just wanted the energy. And Miles had such a sense for just what was right and the attitude. That was the most important thing for him. Was the attitude of the groove. He didn't care about technique so much. He didn't care if it was perfect. Recording, sometimes it'd be sloppy as hell, and he would say, "That's it." Well, there was one time I wanted to do a recording over with him, and it was this recording, Fat Time, and I played a long guitar solo, and he really dug it, and he dug the whole recording, and I said, "Miles, I can do it better. I got to clean it up. I said, Fat Time." He used to call me Fat Time. He said, "Fat Time, when you're at a party, you got to know when to leave." That's a great.
That is a great quote.
That's a great quote from Miles Davis.
Particularly done in that voice.
Yeah, you got to do it in that voice.
Spot on.
You got to do that in that voice. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Okay, well, when you had this guitar made, you went with fatter frets and the Seymour Duncan in the neck and the Seymour Duncan double coil in the bridge. Yeah. And were you doing the bridge like that to get rid of the 60 cycle hum, or is it for a little more bite?
No, it was just what they did.
Yeah.
And I had on the original guitar, I can't remember the cat's name, famous guy who used to make all those pickups for Danny and Roy and a bunch of other people. And I had that in the bridge. And it didn't really, I don't think that one really was a problem with the hum and all that stuff. A little bit more than this. When they made this was kind of more after the copy of the original guitar. Yeah. So it still didn't have this. It had something else, but I forget. But then they used just Seymour Duncan's, and it worked great. Yeah. So when I need to cut a little bit more, I turn on the treble pickup. I prefer kind of a warmer sound.
Sure.
Kind of more, and I'm always going for a more fluid, like a vocal kind of sound in some ways. I kind of sometimes sing along with what I'm playing, kind of under my breath. And sometimes now, I actually do it while music is happening for real, with a microphone. And I've always told students to do that. It gives it more, it comes from here more if you sing along what you play a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a great singer, but just to have that kind of engaged.
Yeah, more melody than patterns,
exactly. It'll make you play more melody. And then if you want to play patterns, you can skip the singing. You know, but there's something nice to include that as much as possible in playing. It makes it sound more warm.
Right,
and human.
And the rest is history.